Disclaimer, before I get into this podcast, if you have not seen the Queens of R&B Tour and you don't want to know any of the secrets, any of the tidbits, maybe you shouldn't watch. You can come back and watch this after you see the show. But if you don't care and you want to know, or if you're not going to see the show and you want to know everything that's going on, proceed. What's up, guys? It's Silent, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the True Exclusive podcast. This is an emergency broadcast. I'm doing this at 1 in the morning because I just got home from the Queens of R&B Tour in New York City, Madison Square Garden to be exact. And if you didn't know, the Queens of R&B Tour consists of co-headliners SWV and Xscape, and they have the opening acts, or I should say supporting acts, Mya, 702, Total, and when I tell you, this was a hell of a show. The fact that I'm even doing an emergency broadcast podcast at 1 in the morning when I am extremely exhausted. I still have to edit some of the concert footage, which you will also see here on True Exclusives. But I said, no, I got to talk about this tour. I got to get, just talk about it and say what I think. I will say that I did miss Total and 702. I had to do something before the show, so I didn't get there in time. But I got there just as Mya was about to come out. So let me preface this by saying I've pretty much been a fan of Mya. Not like a fan in the sense of like pictures on my wall and I go to all her concerts and things like that. But, I'm an R&B lover at heart. So growing up in the 90s, I was supporting every R&B artist. Like if you had a hit, if I loved your voice, I was just into everybody. Like I loved everybody in the 90s. And I pretty much bought almost every album from almost every R&B artist during the 90s. Mya was one of them. So while I've known about her music through the years, and maybe not as much in the later years, but definitely her earlier career hits and albums, and I still follow these people because not only am I an R&B lover, but I also have an entertainment website, True Exclusives, as you guys know because you're watching this. And I got to be on the up and up with the artists that I love and just artists in general. So with that being said, I'm familiar with Mya's work. I'm familiar with her performance style and things of that nature, but I have never seen her live. So Mya came out, and from the rip, she came out strutting on the stage in this leather outfit with a long leather jacket, if I remember correctly. And she just started breezing through the hits. Case of the X, Best of Me, Moving On, Take Me There, I Wanna Go There. The Rugrats theme song, She even did a cover of Tevin Campbell's Can We Talk? And as I said, I have an entertainment-based website, so sometimes I know a little of the secrets that are going on. So I already knew Cisco was going to be a special guest to come out during Mya's set, and they were going to sing It's All About Me, the hit from the 90s that they did together. So I already knew Cisco was coming, so I was waiting for that moment. But leading up to it, she was just going through the hits, and she had a stage presence that, honestly, I was shocked. I was shocked that Mya really put on. I'm such a fan of people who put in work. And you don't even have to know a person's catalog. You don't have to know their performance style. You don't have to know their songs. But you can tell when someone has taken their time and put in effort to put a cohesive show, with the choreography, with the notes that they choose when they're singing, with the way that they just present themselves on stage, And Mya really did that for me today. So I got to give you a round of applause, Mya. You did the damn thing. And I was completely shocked. Not that I didn't know she could sing. Not that I didn't know she could probably. But she put on, I felt like, Mya's a star. You know what I mean? She knows her voice. And I like when an artist knows their voice. There are some artists who can't really sing. For instance, let's use J-Lo as an example. That sounded so shady. Y'all, that sounded so shady. But, I'm just trying to give you an example of an artist who might not have the range per se. So J-Lo, or who else is an artist like that? Whatever the case, Mya has a certain range. Mya can sing, but Mya has a certain range, and she knew how to maneuver her voice. She knew how to, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say trick the audience, but sometimes an audience, a normal concert goer is not going to see what I see or what you see. If you're a true R&B lover, if you're a true lover of a voice, of an instrument, and you know, that goes back to the whole topic a few days ago with Brandy being the vocal Bible and people being like, oh, please, Brandy's not the vocal Bible. People don't, the Bible is the end all be all, so she's not that when it comes to vocal. That's not what the vocal Bible is. The vocal Bible is just the intricacies and the things and the tricks, and that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother podcast, but that's what I'm trying to say about artists who understand their voice and know their limits and know where to take it and not go beyond, because you can go beyond and it can sound horrible, but if you can push and pull and go a little bit, and push yourself to that limit, and it sounds amazing. And Mya is a prime example, at least on this tour for me, or at least tonight on the New York City date of this tour. So round of applause for that. She had the choreography, the performance, the lights, the pizzazz, and it just gave me like a real show, and I love that, and I just love that for her, and I know, she's putting in that work, and I appreciate that, especially at this point in her career. Some artists might feel like, I don't got to do all this shit. I don't got to put in the work, but I can tell she's really doing that, so I got to give her props for that. Then she does All About Me, and I'm thinking, okay, Cisco's about to come out, because like I said, I knew Cisco was part of the show, well, part of her set, and so the time is coming for him to come out on his verse. He comes out, the freaking arena erupts like, I almost felt like, whoa, wait a minute, I feel like it's moving, and I love that for Cisco, because in my opinion, Cisco doesn't get his just due. People like to overlook Cisco, and Cisco is a beast. That voice is incredible. His performance, the way he performs is incredible. Like, Cisco should definitely be talked about more when it comes to R&B male voices and R&B entertainers overall. Cisco, there would be no Chris Brown. I said it. I know y'all like to think Chris Brown is the Usher. There would be no Chris Brown if there wasn't a Cisco. You know what I mean? And I know Chris Brown might not say that, but trust me, he has taken bits and pieces from Cisco. And there's a slew of other artists, you know what I mean, that are influenced by Cisco. And I don't think he gets that credit. So to feel that stadium erupt was just, it made my heart smile. Like I told you, I'm a lover of R&B. I'm a lover of artists. And I love when artists who I feel are legendary or, who might be underrated get their just due and get reactions like that. And I had a good seat. I wasn't very close. I wasn't in the nosebleed. I was like, on the side of the stage, kind of. This is what it looks like. This is my view. This is your view as well, because you're going to see the footage on TrueExclusive here on this channel. So I feel like that seat gave me a good vibe, that I could see the stage lighting, the whole setup of how it was presented, and the audience reaction, and I could still feel the artist. So yeah, where was I? Oh, Cisco. So he comes out, they erupt, and I'm like, ooh, it's an earthquake, bitch. It's an earthquake up here. And of course, he is in prime voice. He's hitting those. I'm not even going to attempt it. He's hitting the notes that we love from Cisco. And the chemistry between him and Mya. Mya got sexy, and she's bending over and dancing all over him, getting on his lap. And he's like, ooh, I like this. It's all a play. You know what I mean? And I love when artists do that, because you want to give the audience a show. And I don't think a normal concert goer understands these little intricate moments are actually part of the show. So when they had that little banter and stuff in the midst of performing and vocalizing, and I just love it. I loved it. And I'm just happy that the crowd received him, because you never know. Even if it's an R&B show, you just never know what a crowd will do for a certain artist, especially if they're not on the bill. So that was dope to witness. All right. Mya ends her set, and I'm ready. I'm like, okay, Xscape, SWV. I love both groups. I know there's always that argument of who's bigger, who's better, I love them, but Xscape is up a notch for me because Xscape just got them, man, them love songs. I've always been a love song kind of guy, wanting love, being heartbroken from love, in love, not in love, yearning for love, all that dumb shit that come with love. But so I've always been more of a Xscape type of fan, and they be singing their asses. SWV sings, but Xscape, they all have this magnetic, extreme voice. So the show starts, and there's this almost like a movie that was directed by Derek Blanks, if I'm not mistaken. So he directed this. It's like a movie intro where they're gonna break into something that looks like a safe, a vault, and get the golden ticket, which ends up being there's a golden ticket underneath one of the seats in the arena. I didn't win it, but the person who wins it gets to go backstage, and I think they get some money too with the golden ticket. The video finishes, and the thing opens, and they all walk out. So SWV and Xscape walk out, and they kind of just stand there on some, what? We the Queens, bitch. First of all, you don't ever see a tour where the artist comes out before singing. Who does that? Nobody does that. But that was such a dope moment to just show the unity from the start. And while I knew this tour was kind of like a back and forth between them, I didn't know it was literally a back and forth. I thought it was they do one song together, and then either Xscape does their set, and then they do another song together, and then SWV does their set, and then they come together at the end. It was literally song for song, bar for bar type shit. So it started off with, man, I don't remember the order, so I can't even talk about it in that sense. But so they come out, they do the stance, we the Queens, whatever. They just standing there. The arena's erupting they're going nuts, and then they go back into the door. The lights dim, I believe, whatever, pyrotechnic lights, all kind of shit. And I'm gonna get into the set itself versus the set list, but let me continue with the set list. Let me try to get this in order, guys. So they go back into the closed doors, and then SWV starts. If I remember correctly, SWV started with, was it I'm So Into You? I'm so into you. But I don't know for sure if that was the song. But nonetheless, they do about 2 songs or 1.5 songs. Xscape comes out. Am I remembering correctly? Damn. I'm pretty sure it was SWV. Nonetheless, I guess it doesn't matter. One of them, they do a song and a song and a half, or 2 songs. Then the next act comes out. Then they do the song and a half, maybe. I think the most they did was 3 songs in between. Then SWV, then Xscape, then SWV. And that was just so amazing because as an R&B lover, Candy made a point on the stage. She said, do you remember back in the day when you would make the mixtapes? We wanted this tour to feel like you were playing a mixtape, and that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like all your favorite hits on a mixtape just playing. So just imagine you made a mixtape of your 2 favorite R&B groups, 2 of the biggest R&B groups in the 90s, and song for song, they just going back and forth. And so you're not, normally when we hear music or you go to a concert, it's just the one artist, one by one. So you're getting back to back. And yes, that's fun. But it was so dope and unique to go from I'm So Into You into Just Kicking It, from the other R&B group, to then going back to Downtown, to then go back to Understanding. This is not the order that it is. I'm just giving you examples. So that was amazing. I loved the set because it was like a thing where some of them would come through the door sometimes. One group would come through the door sometimes. Sometimes they would come up from up top and then come down the stairs to the stage. So that was dope and different. And just the lights and the SWV had a lot of different fonts for the SWV. Like there was one that looked like gold bars. I don't know how to explain that. I could show you it right here. You see how the gold is like moving the letters around a little bit. Then they had this other font that looked like some bubble, almost 3D coming out of the screen, bubbles, SWV all over. Another thing, these girls, I mean, I went to Xscape's last tour when they reunited, and it was such an incredible tour. That was one of my favorite concerts ever, and they sing their asses off. So I'm familiar with the bar of talent and vocals that these two groups possess, because I've seen them both live multiple times. I've seen their award show performances and things of that nature. So I came in here knowing this was gonna be some real shit. This wasn't gonna be no, they was gonna be singing. We was gonna have church. I already knew. So, but it's one thing to know and then experience it. So these ladies are singing their ass off. I was with a friend of mine. She is somewhat familiar with the two acts, but she did not know. She was shocked. She just kept saying, like, I kept looking at her and she was like she could not believe the voices. And she was telling me afterwards about that. So yeah, they sang their asses off, which I expected, but man, and Tiny's voice is so like, you see how I'm just like, I'm like in love. Her voice it just has that quality to it that makes you feel like puppy love. Like, she has like that voice that's like, how can I describe Tiny's voice? It's like that yearning voice, like, I don't know how to explain it, and it's just so beautiful, and it's not as hard and rough as other members in the group. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Hard and rough can work for some people. You have church people who have that grit and that grunt and those high notes, and they belting, and and it works. But Tiny's voice is just so like smooth, but she can hit the notes. I mean, do you hear that? She hitting notes. So I just love Tiny's voice. And everyone else has their own vocal styling. And with SWV, Taj and Lelee sang a lot more than ever before. They didn't, Coco is known as the lead singer. And yes, here and there through the years, Taj and Lelee have sang, but not as much as they are on this tour. So I really appreciated that. And they sounded amazing. SWV brought out Method Man. That was so dope for Taj and Method Man to kind of go bar for bar type. So that was cool. That was a great closer. So essentially, they're both closing, but in a sense, it seems like SWV closed, because Xscape did Understanding to close. Well, they came out and did like 3 songs, but it ended with Understanding, which was amazing. It felt like the show was over almost, because they had that vibe with the audience singing what I need from, all that good stuff. And it felt like, yeah, this is an ending. But then SWV came out and did Weak, and that definitely felt like an ending. And then they went into the joint with Method Man. So that was incredible. Tiny brought out Eris. Man, that little girl, we're seeing a star in the making, and it's going to be so incredible to follow her journey and career and see where she evolves and how her music evolves as she gets older, because she has got it. She was singing a little bit of Understanding. She came out with her father. Now, her father T.I. Now, I have to talk about the Kinks. There were minor kinks. One kink that was very major for me was there was a part where I think it was Xscape. Might have been SWV, whatever. One of the groups finished singing whatever their 2 or 3 songs, and it kind of went black. And that had happened already a few times, but it was a good transition. Like, it would go black and then turn into a light for the next group. You know, the proper transitioning. But this one went black, and then it was just kind of quietness. Nobody was on the stage, and I'm like, okay. So I sat down, because I was standing the whole time. And I sat down thinking, okay, this might be an intermission. I don't know what this is. And then it seemed like the DJ started playing a song, and I'm like, okay, this is an intermission. It was kind of awkward for me. I mean, so I sat down, and I'm like, all right. Then all of a sudden, T.I. comes out, but you don't even notice that it's T.I. Like, he kind of came out mumbling. Maybe he was singing along with the track, and that's what it was. But because I noticed even people around me weren't really paying attention. And then I look, and I could see him. I'm looking at the screen, and I could see a person. I didn't know it was him at the time. I see a person, like, looking like they're rapping. And I'm hearing, but it's just not connecting. I don't know. And no one's really noticing. Then all of a sudden, you realize it's T.I. And it's like, oh, shit, it's T.I. So you get up or whatever. But so that is one of the major kinks that I would fix. Maybe they need to fix that transition as he comes out. Maybe Xscape should introduce him some way, or it needs to be a better introduction of how he came out, because we didn't really notice. Even my friend was saying it at the end of the show when we talked as we left the venue. But yeah, T.I. performed with Eris. They did Live Your Life, and she did the Rihanna part, of course. So that was dope and cute, but just the intro of it was kind of awkward. And then it was kind of short, and then it just ended. And it went black again for a little longer than it should have. And I'm just like, okay, that was odd. Another kink was, I believe, Tonight. When Xscape sang Tonight, which is one of my favorite Xscape songs for them to perform. Because, you know, they really go in there with it vocally. And I was excited to see that song in particular live. I don't know if they do this through the whole tour or if they just did it in New York, but they started in the audience. So stage is black, then the lights come on the way the set is supposed to be with the rain dropping. Like, I knew they were about to sing Tonight. Then all of a sudden it starts, but no one's on stage. The performance escapes. Xscape has escaped. Xscape is not on the stage, and I'm just like, okay. And you hear them singing the song, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? And everybody's looking around like, what's going on? So I'm thinking, I thought at the time something was happening backstage. Because, you know, things happen. I've been backstage at a lot of performances, so I know shit happens in the midst of a tour, and there's nothing you can do. But you want to keep singing so that you're on track and you hit the curfew, because a lot of these performers, if they perform past the curfew, a lot of time they have to pay a huge check for that. If the venue even allows them to pass the curfew for a check. Sometimes they won't even let you, and they'll just cut your mic off and the show is over. So in the sense of you got to keep the show going, sometimes if the mic is working, but yet maybe there was an outfit malfunction and they're fixing it, but let me just keep singing the song and I'll just... So I thought something, because they're singing the song. The song is already started, is in the verse, and about to hit the chorus, and there's still nobody on the stage, and we're looking. All of a sudden, we notice they're in the audience. Can't really see them, at least from my seat. But so the majority of that song, they're in the audience, and you don't see nothing. You see kind of a spotlight there on them. And I didn't really like that, because I'm like 50-50. I'm like the scale. I'm a Libra. So on one hand, as part of a show and the spectacle and the excitement, I can understand where that might work. Like, ooh, they're in the audience, and especially for that section where they're at, the fans there that are able to be up close in contact with them, I can see how that will work and look good. But you have an entire arena who cannot see you. Because there wasn't a camera on them either to show them on the big screen. So it's just literally the set and black screens on the camera, on the TV screens. So we're just looking out into the audience. We can't see them, but we can hear them. So I didn't really like that. I felt like for an audience who's coming to see you in concert, it's somewhat unfair. That's the other side of my scale. You know, you should just always stay on stage so everybody can see you. And if you are going to go in the audience, make sure there's going to be a camera on you to show it on the screen so everyone else in the arena can experience that moment that you're trying to make with the fans. I didn't really like that. I was upset because, man, that's one of the songs I really wanted to see. It wasn't that deep, but you get what I'm trying to. You guys know. You there's certain songs you really love to see them perform, your favorite artists. So of course you're gonna be mad if they change it up or they do it the wrong way or if they don't even sing it or whatever the case may be. But then they eventually got to the stage and sang the rest of it. And again, I don't know if they're doing that on the whole tour. They might have just been trying that out for the New York show. So if they did just try it out for the New York show, don't do it again. I'm just playing. But that's just my little 2 cents of what I think are the minor kinks. Were there any other kinks? Because I talked about all the positive. You know, I'm not trying. I'm just speaking from a place of I love these acts. You know what I mean? And I'm just a person that loves to see my favorite artists presented in a way that they should be, and these are iconic R&B groups, and I just want things to look great for them. You know what I mean? I'm not talking from a point of hatred, and I think you guys know that. But the show was incredible. Man, if you're an R&B lover, you have to go to this tour. This is literally a once in a lifetime situation. When are you gonna ever see acts like this intertwined? I don't think this has ever been done. Yes, there's been joint tours, co-headlining tours, but to my knowledge, there's never been a tour where they're intertwining song for song, bar for bar type, you know, and I thought that was so incredible to witness. I hope more people do this. I hope Brandy and Monica do this for the culture. That would be incredible. Man, could you imagine like a Mariah and Whitney doing that? Oh my God, that would be, whew. Who else do you think could do a tour like that? It's almost essentially like a versus. I'm sure there's a few people who could do that. But anyway, so if you're an R&B lover, you need to go see this tour. Even if you're not an R&B lover, if you're just a fan of talent and artistry and vocals, I mean vocals for days, and vocals that are not like, you know how some artists can sing, by the end of the show you could tell they worn out? No, vocals was top tier from the beginning to the mother end. I don't want to curse on here, you know what I mean? YouTube gonna be flagging me and shit. I can say shit, but I don't want to say the F-bomb. Nonetheless, go see the Queens of R&B Tour. It's a must-see tour. If you haven't seen it, if it hasn't hit your city, go to the tour no matter where you sit. Like I said, I wasn't in the front. I wasn't in the top, back, but I was in the middle. I had a good seat. But whatever ticket you could get, just go. Go see the show. You won't regret it. It's amazing, especially if you know the artists and you love them. Go. This is a tour you need to see. And I'm sure 702 Total, you know, and whatever special, I think MC Light was one of the special guests as well to supporting acts in the beginning. So I'm sure they did great leading up to it. Like I said, Mya was great. Go see the tour. You will not regret it. And if not, if you missed it, you can see clips here on TrueExclusives. And I hope this random review, random podcast episode made you enthusiastic about it. Drop a comment. Let me know if you went to the tour already, if you're going to the tour already, and if you went, what you liked, what you didn't like, and if you're going to the tour, what you look forward to. And if you missed the show and you see clips on TrueExclusive, let me know. All right? So until the next episode of the TrueExclusive podcast, I want to thank you guys for watching these videos and supporting, commenting, And above all, please share, share, share. When you share my content on True Exclusive, you're supporting me. It's free to share and support what I do. I work really hard at what I do. And I just appreciate all the years of the support from those who've been riding with me from the beginning. It has been quite the journey, but I don't want to go on another tangent. Maybe we'll talk about that on another episode on the True Exclusive podcast. Peace.